Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. A little under the weather last week, but now back with the boys of summer. Summer Solstice Eve, Father's Day the Jackson way. Hot town summer in the city. The Yankees box the Sox and chase the birds. Summer rains a-shining. The Expo Roadshow burns the fair weather states. Summer of '82, New Blue Brew Crew. Gentle Ben tames the Tigers. And the St. Louis Midsummer's Nightmare. The Mets suitor up a rally and a 5-run tally. Summertime, summertime. Summer hot, summer not. It's sink or swim, so come on in. Hot times for all on This Week in Baseball. American League East. With the New York Yankees toddling behind 5 other teams, a classic rivalry founded in great matchups from days past came roaring back to the Bronx.
The rivalry between the Red Sox and Yankees is as big now as it ever was, and the Yankees are going to do it all the way #1 this year.
This is like one of the best rivalries in baseball right here.
When you come to a Red Sox game, you see more than a ball game. You see tradition and the electricity of it all.
When Boston's in first place, we know the Yankees are coming back.
Yeah. It's a lot different when you get the Toronto Blue Jays in here and then you get the Boston Red Sox in here.
Anytime the Yankees and Red Sox play, it's a big rival. It's the fans make it that way. The media makes it that way. It's the way it's always been. It's always exciting, and anytime that the two get together, it gives you a little bit extra adrenaline.
I think with the tradition behind it that, you know, it's a really big series for us anytime we play New York.
From the tradition of the past, the Red Sox and the Yankees, the playoffs a few years ago, and now Boston's in first place, and we're trying to catch them, and there's no question about it. It's a big rivalry.
A lot of people wouldn't think that the Boston-New York series is still as strong as it was, but I think it is.
I'm not worried about the Yankees. They're just too far back.
How far back? Well, 10 games behind the Red Sox to be exact, when the two clubs got it going for the first time this season at Yankee Stadium. A big 3-game series and a chance for the Bronx Mini Bombers to show their stripes after taking a serious licking on the road from both the Red Sox and the Orioles. Right away, manager Gene Michael discovered signs of a turnaround, especially from his Cincinnati connection. Dave Collins sparked a New York victory in the opener with his first homer and some daring base running. After getting mixed up and down and in and out of the lineup, the big series was the straw that stirred the Collins.
Well, it felt good to contribute, and the first game against Boston, I felt like I contributed, and I've been struggling. Anytime you have a good game, it gives you a good feeling, it gives you a little more confidence, and hopefully I'm back on top of my game and I can contribute every night.
But the man really tattooing the baseball was Collins' former and present teammate, Ken Griffey, hitting once again like in Cincinnati. Game 2, 8th inning, New York trailing 4-3 with a man on, and there it is. Going, and it is gone. Griffey's blast capped a dramatic 3-run comeback. Just like old times for the turned-on stadium crowd, and about time for the Yankees and the red-hot Griffey, who needed a lift, got it, and enjoyed it.
Well, it meant more important, mean a lot to the team. You know, it helped me in terms of getting my mental outlook, you know, a lot better. I was down a few, and then all of a sudden I get a hit, especially because I wasn't hitting very well in Yankee Stadium, and, you know, it just helped a lot in that respect.
And this helped, too. Another Griffey homer the next night to complete a 3-game sweep, moving New York to 7 games behind Boston while tightening up the entire division race. And entering in on Boston's heels, the peppered-up Baltimore Orioles, who figured the time had come to stop messing around. With 8 of 10 victories, the Birds were a-chirping.
Now we've started to put some good defense together. Our pitching has been strong. We've been scoring runs all year long. We've got much more power in the lineup than we've ever had before. And it's an Oriole trait to have good starting pitching, and I think it's really coming around for us now.
And Jim Palmer backed up his battery mate by winning the opener with his 28th career victory against the Yankees. Since returning from exile in the bullpen, a 2.63 ERA in 5 starts. breaks for Gentleman Jim.
Scotty McGregor pitched a couple great games for us, and when guys like that start putting it together, everybody starts to play well.
And when you play well, you get the breaks. The Orioles had touched home with their 9th win in 11 games, and they did it with strong pitching, good hitting, and steady defense. In the second game, the Orioles tried to add more gravity to the Yankee drift, but with less success. In a nip-and-tuck marathon lasting 4 hours and 26 minutes, the two clubs checked each other step for step. In the 7th, the Yankees tied it reverse bomber style. No more of that, said Earl Weaver, and no more scored thereafter for 9 more innings. But then in the 16th, Willie Randolph stepped up with runners at first and third, the infield and outfield drawn in, and with that, the drawn-out affair was settled on New York's 17th single. 4 singles for Randolph, 4-3 New York. Game 3, and a clouded outcome again until extra innings. Pinch hitter Joe Nolan at bat in the 11th. The picture brightened for the Orioles with Baltimore's 7th pinch hit homer winning the game in the series. And it was Nolan contendere that the Birds were back. Pennant hopes in Motown, however, were held just a little bit shaky for the Detroit Tigers, who walked straight into mass confusion. The imposing Milwaukee Brewers under new manager Harvey Keene came barreling in. The stirred-up Brewers swept the Tigers, raising their winning streak to 5 games, and in moving to 4 games back to the Red Sox, made it look nice and easy. Seven straight Tiger losses. So why indeed, Sparky? Well, for one, Paul Molitor and mates were on one of their typical power binges, whether long ball or just long enough ball. Homer number 6 for Molly blooms a 5-2 Milwaukee win. In a 10-3 victory, Robin Yount hit one out of the park in the first inning and then tried to do the same in the second. Not quite out, but Yount made it count. And inside the Parker, 2 homers in 2 innings and 11 overall for Rockin' Robin. Then Ben Ogilvy took command in yet another victory with 3 home runs, all the old-fashioned style, raising his total to 15. On the mound, nimble Moose Haas gave Milwaukee's belabored starting staff a much-needed complete game, only the team's 8th of the year, and victory number 4 for Haas. Otherwise, it was Raleigh Fingers to the rescue again and again. 3 times Fingers made the Tigers knuckle under, saves 13, 14, and 15. Yes, up and down the division, the favored powerhouses were revved up for action in the American League East. Turning west, the California Angels changed direction again. 8 straight losses at home meant time for a new program. Batmaster Rod Carew extended his hitting streak to 25 games, the longest streak of the year in the majors, and the longest ever for Carew and the Angels. The home losing streak stopped, and the Angels then won 2 of 3 from the White Sox, and Reggie Jackson caught fire. 4 for 4, including home run number 13, helped beat the White Sox 3-1. A Father's Day special for Reggie, who had already homered in 2 other Chicago games, one of them career hit number 2,000. Jackson's ailing dad asked for a big game, so Reggie honored his father and even stole himself a base. Thanks to all that Jackson paternal power, California regained first place by half a game, and this time hoped to hold it. Now, it's time for this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 1982 models. Nothing else is a Volkswagen. Catcher John Wathan of the Kansas City Royals recently stole his 23rd base, ranking him 2nd in the league. Wathan has 3 times as many steals as teammate Willie Wilson, and he's closing in on the all-time record for catchers. Can you name the Hall of Fame catcher who holds the all-time record and the catcher of today who gave the record a run? Stay tuned. National League East. Reversing Canadian customs, for the first time ever, the Montreal Expos are playing winning baseball south of the border. The Expos gained ground on the Cardinals during a recent road tour, but lost the .321 bat of Terry Francona to knee surgery. Mike Gates was called up from Wichita, where he'd been hitting .344, and swung right into action against the falling Cubs. Bringing up the rookie second baseman opened the gates for Tim Raines to return to left field, where Francona had been playing before being hurt. Now, that may sound confusing, but not to the Expos, who were more confused as to why Raines seemed a bit bridled on the bases earlier this year. He's back on the fast track now, however, raising his stolen base count to 27. Also back on track, Andre Dawson, who started Montreal's first 62 games before taking a well-deserved day off with a .309 average. First baseman Al Oliver also had only 1 day off. Taking over the league lead in hitting with a .330 mark might have something to do with that. 9 homers and 47 RBIs might be another reason. Montreal did little to lower the Cubs' ERA at Wrigley Field as Iron Man Gary Carter busted loose with 7 hits in 2 games. The Expos won 5 straight and moved within 1 game of first place in St. Louis. And though all have equal rights to offense at Wrigley, Steve Rogers still spun a 4-0 shutout to lower his ERA to a league-leading 1.88. Seems like Les Expos are right at home playing the American pastime on the road. And in St. Louis, the holes in the Iron Arch of Triumph got exposed somewhat as the Cardinals had their first-place bulge reduced, while the New York Mets fattened up a bit by winning 3 of 4. Though Whitey Herzog managed to keep his jaws in shape, injuries had the Redbirds somewhat out of shape. Switch hitter Wally Backman got his first hit from the right side and through the right side, a game winner. George Foster also alive at 5 and another Mets triumph. 5 hits and 5 times at bat, that is, including his 8th homer. And speaking of 5s and 8s, the Mets won that game 8-5. And in the same contest, Dave Kingman blasted his 17th home run while driving in 4 to up his RBIs to 46. This marked the first time that both Kingman and Foster homered in a Mets victory. How about that? And how about this? John Stearns, batting in the 10th against relief ace Bruce Sutter, rattles the Redbird rail. The Mets beat Sutter this time 5-4 after beating him 2 days earlier when Ellis Valentine sparked a shocking 5-run rally after St. Louis had carried a 3-0 lead into the ninth. This marked the first time Sutter had been knocked out all season, as fleet-footed Cardinal defenders tried in vain to flag down the Mets' last-ditch blitz. And if you find that a little odd, starter Mike Scott stood in for New York's ailing relief ace Neil Allen and put the Cards to bed with his first 2 saves and a victory. As the season turned in the West, the Los Angeles Dodgers took a turn for the best. While former LA skipper Walt Alston looked on in Cincinnati, young Dodgers like Pedro Guerrero of the Tom Lasorda generation put on a show of strength against the Reds. Home run number 12 for Comanchero Guerrero, and it produced a 2-1 Dodger victory, his 8th game-winning RBI. And rookie second sacker Steve Sachs kept tooting his horn on the hit parade, increasing his league-leading base hits to 83. Still, the Dodgers offered their old boss signs that some things haven't changed since the Alston era, namely winning with pitching and running. Los Angeles ran its win streak to 6 by stealing 3 of 4 in Cincinnati while racing back into contention 6.5 games off the pace of first-place Atlanta. The once mighty Red Machine was hijacked and handcuffed by uncompromising Dodger hurlers. Jerry Royce beat Tom Seaver for his 8th win, the 7th victory in his last 8 decisions against Cincinnati. Also, Fernando Valenzuela, who combines inward vision and pitching precision, became the league's first 9-game winner with a 2-1 victory. The first win in 5 tries for Fernando against the Reds. And in relief, Steve Howe took the curtain bow. In his last 19 outings, 4 wins, no losses, 3 saves, and 1 earned run for an ERA of 0.29. How's that for an answer to a question mark bullpen? How indeed. Now, how about the answer to this week's Volkswagen quiz? In 1916, Ray Schalk of the White Sox set the Major League record for stolen bases by a catcher with 30. Schalk even stole a few hats in his day, too. 62 years later, John Stearns of the Mets stole 25 bases in 1978. Though the dude felt a bit shy, he did set a National League record for steals by a catcher, and to the best of anyone's recollection, seemed content to only wear his own hat. Ah, sweet bird of youth, whereto does it fly? Uh-huh. Hey, keep your eye on the base runner now. Don't any of you young'uns know the score? Like, who's on first? Well, if you think it's hard trying to get kids to heed the ball game, just try getting them to keep their attention on the camera while some grown-up leads them into a commercial. Ken Singleton did in these outtakes with his sons.
Here we go. I'm Ken Singleton. Catch Johnny Bench to Chicken and Major League guest stars like me every Saturday on the Baseball Bunch, right here on Channel 2.
We do.
That's one of you. You gonna say we do, Jess?
I want my husband.
Well, they gotta be able to see your face. Don't you want Grandma to see you? Right here on Channel 2.
We do. We do.
Right here on Channel 2.
We do. We do.
Come on, look up.
Is it one more time?
Right here on Channel 2. You guys gonna say it?
I'm Matthew. I'm Justin.
Wait, let's try again. Matthew, let Justin go first.
Justin goes first.
I'm Justin, and I'm Matthew.
No, Matthew, you can't do that.
Are you really?
Every kid who shows up in a Baseball Bunch T-shirt like this one gets to march with me in the parade.
Hey, Pop, we're all sure to be up for that. A parade, huh? Well, older kids will do anything to catch the camera's eye, such as catch the ball. Presenting Major League Outtakes. First take, Jason Thompson, Pittsburgh Pirates. Second take, Andre Robertson, New York Yankees. Short take, Ron Gardenhire, New York Mets. Third take, Ken Oberkfell, St. Louis Cardinals. Some center takes, Lonnie Smith of the Cardinals. Rupert Jones, San Diego Padres. Chili Davis, San Francisco Giants. The Philadelphia Phillies, Gary Maddox. On the take in right, Jesse Barfield, Toronto. The Chicago Cubs, Jay Johnstone. Milwaukee Brewers, Marshall Edwards. Final takes, Julio Cruz, Seattle Mariners. Doug Flynn, Texas Rangers. Manny Castillo, Seattle again. And from the Mariners, one more time, take it away, Mike Stanton. That's a wrap, gentlemen, and deserves a print. And still wrapping out the hits, Pete Rose, now the #2 man on the all-time hit list by passing Henry Aaron's 3,771. Only Ty Cobb has more, 4,191. Finally, Milwaukee's Ben Ogle, recipient of this week's Gillette Special. Against the Tigers, the former Tiger was ferocious. In one game, Ogleby smashed home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and the Tigers must have known something was a-brewing, because in 1979, he did this to them. 3 home runs in 1 ball game for the fellow known to Milwaukee folk as Gentle Ben, but unbearable Ben to Detroit folk. Now, once again, 3 homers in 1 game. Walking the next time. Congratulations, Ben. And folks, see you next week on This Week in Baseball.